All right. The Sheriff's Office Advisory and Review Board meeting for June 14 will come to order. Danette, would you take the roll, please?
Tommy Jones,
Present.
Van Layden,
She's present.
Joseph Lopez. Haven't heard from him, so anybody hear him?
No, I thought he said that he was going to be here. So,
Let's hope.
yeah, let's
Yeah.
hope that he
It
It was
shows.
getting tight in the parking lot.
Mr. Stewart, it was really tight. Mr. Stewart,
Present.
Debbie Strunger, I see her.
Strongen's present.
She waved. Debbie Dodge,
Ricky Dodge is back.
Yay.
Michael Wismer is out, the country, I believe,
And that too.
right?
I think.
Yes, he did send us an email saying he was
Okay.
out, or he couldn't log in. And then Miss Giacchi.
Uh,
Anybody hear
And
from her?
we talked to her Wednesday as well, and I thought that she indicated she would be here. So again, the chair notes that we have a quorum and we are therefore able to do business. And so we will proceed. I will anticipate, hopefully, that we are interrupted by people joining us. Nonetheless, the next item on the agenda is the consent agenda. And prior to calling the meeting to order, there was some discussion about the minutes. Are you all ready for a motion on the minutes? Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the minutes as corrected.
I'll second
It's been moved and properly seconded that the meeting minutes as corrected be received. Any unreadiness? Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The minutes are approved. We have a section for public comment, number 4. I don't think we have anybody lined up to speak. We have a section for Sheriff's Office comment. We did receive word that the sheriff or any of its representatives, any of his representatives be present. So I anticipate that no one will be coming from the public, nor will anyone be coming from the sheriff's office. So unless there's something that you all have in those two areas, we'll move on to old business. Item 6A is a briefing on the listening session at the Patrick J. Baca Library held on June 12, 2024. My name's there, so let me just start and say that we did have the listening session as indicated there, and the attendees, Dr. Layden was present, Joseph Lopez, Elena Giacchi, and myself. I'll yield to Dr. Layden. She can share her takeaways from that meeting, if you would, ma'am.
Well, we were dressed nicely and we were very polite to each other. And Chairman Barbara Baca joined us, but nobody came except the guy from KRQE. who
I've
was
had
there
one
with
of those
camera,
meetings.
but yeah, we dutifully stayed until 6:45. That was my fault. People were ready to go at 6:30. Just in case. But anyway, we waited 45. Maybe it's the location. I don't know if the South Valley will have a better turnout. Elena Giacchi said that she met with Jim Stewart about a South Valley meeting. So is that in the works? No.
It's on the agenda item.
No,
It's on the.
It's on the agenda, but
it's on the
No.
agenda.
Yeah.
without
So,
But you
Elena,
haven't discussed it yet. Thank you.
that's
That's
it,
it.
Dr. Layden. Thank you,
There's not
and,
much.
and thank you for being there.
welcome.
I'll say this, with the 4 of us, we had our maximum that we permissibly could have at this meeting. Kind of an interesting experience. I don't know if the libraries are the best places. I tried to get there a little early, anticipating that we might have a little difficulty. Our vice chair had actually reserved the room And so when I got there, the desk attendant confronted me and said, well, you're not the one that reserved the room, so
Oh, boy.
you can't go in the room until the one that reserves it is present. And I said, well, we may have quite the wait because I know our vice chair is not in the
Brass
city
wings.
or county. So, they were good enough to accept my library card and allow us to open the room.
If Barbara Baca got there, that probably would have worked too. but
Yeah, let's hope they would have
Yeah.
and did recognize Barbara Baca. I'm not sure. Wow.
You know, because of the engineering world, we have to have public meetings all the time for things.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, the attendance, it's just when something they don't like happens,
Mhm.
then they want to complain about it and say that they never knew there was a meeting, but I mean,
Well,
the same thing happened with the art
I
project.
had the interesting experience as I walked into the room, there were 2 ladies who were looking for a meeting. And so they were directed to the room and sat down, and I was having conversation, who are you all? And they said, well, what's your capacity with this? I said, well, I'm Tommy Jewell, I chair the board. I probably said Sheriff's Office and Advisory and Review Board. They said, oh, what does that have to do with the HOA?
Oh, you don't want to get in an HOA meeting.
What's HOA?
Homeowners Association. Those turned pretty violent.
And so that meeting was at the opposite end of the library, fortunately. I said, I wonder if Mr. Stewart's going to that meeting. That wasn't your HOA, I assume. Wednesday must be the time that those HOAs meet. Because these ladies, we got a lot of problems.
Yeah.
And she proceeded to tell me
I was a customer neighbor.
that since she moved in, she has been dutifully pulling her weeds, but she is still getting cited. She is still being fined. I said, man, this sheriff, how could he do this to these poor women?
Hi, Daniel. Daniel's on.
Daniel,
Good afternoon, everyone. It sounds like
Can you
Tuesday,
hear
or
us,
it sounds like your
Daniel?
meeting was a good time. Yes, I can hear you.
yeah.
Okay.
So, after that, the commission chair came to the meeting, and it was a good opportunity to at least share with her, as Dr. Layden was saying.
You know me, I just. Listen.
And so we began a discussion about transition. I don't think she had a whole lot of input for us, but I think anticipates that there is a need to coordinate for purposes of there being a smooth transition of this board. So we'll certainly plan for that. I know our vice chair is willing to stay on a bit in an effort to make sure that there's a report in line with the requirement of our enabling ordinance. And that's appreciated. But our terms do expire, as I understand, at the end of October.
Mhm.
And so,
Except for Mr. Stewart.
except for
You're the lowest.
Dr.
And Elena probably, Elena Gianni.
No,
All of you guys
she
expired.
said she's,
Hers does too?
yeah.
Because she came on a lot later than we did.
But she's filling someone
Oh,
else's
she's filled a
spot.
vacancy.
Mhm.
Can we recommend that we have a joint meeting with the new board members? That we stay alive through November and have a joint meeting, talk about transition.
Mhm.
There may not be much to say. We may need to just direct them to the previous years on the website, but maybe it would help. Because the first few years of this board are vastly different from what's happening now. So we need to talk about Manny, and it isn't to say bad things about Manny, but the demand was much greater on this board.
Mhm.
To
Yeah, there's a much
respond
more open
to the
sheriff's
behavior
office.
of the previous sheriff, to what he did.
So that's a good suggestion, Dr. Layden, a joint
Thank
meeting
you.
with the new
Okay,
board.
He's
Appreciate
having a
it.
public meeting.
let's have a transition meeting in November or December if they get the appointees. Now,
It's, do they intend to continue with this committee? Or this?
That's
board?
my understanding.
Okay.
She didn't voice that they intended to disband.
Okay,
That would be, I know we don't have a lot of problems. I need to say this. We don't have a lot of problems right now, but we could if someone else was elected.
oh, yeah, you never
We
know.
could be, right. And so we've got a structure, and I recommend we retain the structure, even if there isn't much to handle.
Our vice chair is good enough to raise her hand.
I wasn't sure if I heard correctly that you're talking about having a joint meeting in November, because our terms end in October. So
Right.
I'm not sure.
Okay, I propose that we have a transition meeting where we just talk to the new board members about our experiences, because the past was very different from how things are now. And we can direct them to the website, to the annual reports, and to who we are, and these people can contact us. We
Okay.
don't just leave them.
Yeah, and
in the
I'm not thinking that Vice Chair Strongman is taking any issue with the
Okay,
substance of that,
that was
Yeah.
my.
but with the
purpose.
November. And so I don't want to get hung on the November. My
Yeah.
takeaway,
Okay.
Dr. Layden, is a
Once they get a,
Meeting,
joint meeting with the new board,
right.
whenever that happens.
Whenever,
Yeah.
Whether or not we are actually board members or not,
right.
that there be some kind of transition meeting in some fashion. And so, again, the conversation was started with Commission Chair Baca. I think I need to revisit that with her and make sure that we continue to discuss that. And as I told her, I definitely need to talk to my commissioner. I had held off until after the election. She had primary
yeah.
opposition. But she's back in. So, and I don't know who else.
No, I'm at large. so-
You're at large. And you're Benson,
It's on the
and he
agenda.
wasn't up. I don't think he was up, was he?
Oh, he had a primary, but no.
Oh, okay.
Are you at large, Debbie?
I am at large,
Okay,
but there's also, even though I'm at large, I mean, I'm from District 5, and I believe on this board, there are 4 of us who are from District 5.
oh, really?
So, yeah,
Two of
Michael,
us, 6, yeah.
We're 3 of them,
Elena,
3, okay, maybe 6.
Diane, and I, so that's 4.
and there are only
And I
5.
know that
five-
when we,
five
6 is the city.
when we presented the annual report, the comment was made by our commission, by District 5 Commissioner Rivas, that District 5 was somewhat overrepresented.
So
Yeah, and I'm not, who are you counting when you count those members in District 5?
Michael Wismer, Elena, Diane Layden, and myself.
Okay.
Oh, Elena's
It
up in
doesn't
there?
matter. We can't cut that.
Well, that's not on us though, Dr. Layton.
No.
We don't.
But we can be aware of it, so.
Okay.
So, anything else with, I think I kind of leaked from the briefing on the listening session. And understanding that I don't think Mr. Stewart has any information on a SORB South Valley listening session. And Ms. Giacchi is not with us. So I don't know that that's going to happen. I think more important is transition. So
Yeah.
that is the reason for my leave. Anything else about transition?
Is anybody carrying over? I mean, you
We
are,
know he is. We
but
don't
anybody
know who
whose
will
time
be.
is up, we don't know.
So letters will go out to you guys before October,
Mhm.
letting you know that your term's expiring and
Right.
asking if you'd like to stay. Then you respond back to those. And then from there, they know what they need to fill. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
like they, all of you say yes, or all of you say no, then they know they need to advertise for a replacement.
Well, we also don't know if we're going to be reappointed.
Right. And
Well,
That's different. I mean, we
How do
can
they do the
express an
at-large?
interest, but.
how
our
do they do the
commissioner may
at-large?
not.
The entire, I think the entire commission votes on at-large. I don't know.
how they do it
process.
is they put out that there's a vacancy and it goes on a You can go in like now and see what boards have vacancies and they're
They know.
requesting applications. So you have to
Yeah.
put in an app
They
and
have
then
to
from
be
there,
interested, yeah.
from there it goes through the,
So I guess if we know someone, we should tell them that they're
they have
interested.
to put an app in, yes. That's the only way that it'll get before the board to vote on.
Okay, well, that process,
Unless you're from a district, but it's the only way that they know that people are interested to be on the board. That's how they do it.
Yeah, and that's what I did.
Yeah, they'll make you put it. So,
okay, well, thanks, Danette. And, you know, we might just, make an appointment, with Commission Chair Baca. Discuss this in further detail.
Yes.
And I encourage those of us who are here, a district, please, from a commission district, please meet with you. Talk with your commissioner even prior to the letter coming out. So no one's caught off guard. Kind of help in transition. Anything else on that? Anything for the good of the order? Does anybody have information to share? Problems to discuss? I think you got out, I'm sorry, Dr. Lee. I was gonna say, I know you got out an email about the findings on the helicopter. correct?
Yes, on the
Right.
helicopter, we know what it was. It was engine failure. I'm really pleased to see the interest in law enforcement from the Attorney General and from the DA and the sheriff, and there have been several town halls, at least two I'm aware of. I'm really glad to see this because this is a great concern. Crime. So I salute them.
I have heard through the grapevine, and I don't know if it's actually true or not, but that Diane Dosal is no longer there.
Yes, I would like to talk about that now. And is there a way we can?
Okay,
Okay,
Okay.
Judge Jules
Yes.
you sent me a note about Diane Dosal.
Yeah, I think you asked me a question,
About
and
why
as
she-
best I knew, I attempted to answer.
Salary may have been an issue.
And I don't know that we want that in, I don't know.
no,
what
I
the
just didn't
issues
know if
are.
everybody knew
And-
that
and
she
that's-
was no
that-
longer
that-
there.
That's kind of grapevine issue,
Don't
but
know what to do.
we can inquire, but, you know, I
Can
don't
we
know.
please inquire?
Well, they have a new behavioral health
The town.
person at the county. Well, yeah.
so
So-
behavior health split.
Wayne
So
Johnson.
so what happened is behavioral health used to be under public safety. It's come out from under public safety and they got their own deputy county managers, what this is good. And then all of that's gonna fall under him. So with restructuring, I don't know, sheriffs has their own stuff with behavioral.
Right, that's,
Works closely with that new behavioral, but, you know,
I
in the
think they're
scheme of
working
things,
on
it's always hard
yeah.
to say like how things as they restructure, and right now we're going through other restructuring, so. You know, you don't know like how those direct orders, Diane Dysol was on contract, because she is a retiree, and there's also, because of para, there's stuff as a retiree, what you can and cannot do to come back into work into para.
thank you.
So sometimes you have to, if you want to come back into para, you have to cut your retirement and no longer take it and then start working. So, I mean, there's a lot going on that we probably don't know and can't inquire, but just so you know, that's how it works with para. You can't come back into a para entity.
Yeah, and I thought the last legislative session, they had waived that for.
For
police.
certain, for police, but she was in a non,
She's a civilian.
yes,
Yeah,
civilian
right.
position.
Right,
But so, you know,
I said,
better than speculate or grapevine.
yeah,
We don't know, and, you know, hopefully her great work and
but we
everything
do know
going
that she's
forward.
not there anymore. Okay,
Okay.
But they're
well,
still continuing with the program, so.
right,
that's a good
exactly, yeah.
I
But if we
regret-
reached out to her, we would not.
Let us reach
Yeah.
out to.
You guys can reach out to whoever you want, but I
No,
don't know if the sheriff's gonna
That probably
see.
wouldn't even be her email. I don't
Reach out to the sheriff for what?
And ask him or one of his representatives to speak to us at the next meeting about the behavioral health program at the sheriff's. In, given the departure of Diane Cell, this is a good question. I think. Debbie? When she will see what she's.
Her screen's there. Oh, there she is.
Rearranging her furniture.
She's getting more comfortable.
It's cold.
It is kind of cold. in
Is
here.
it?
I don't know, like, this room where there's a control.
Debbie,
Yes.
can we have your opinion? I would like to contact the sheriff's office. I propose that the board contact the sheriff's office to ask who will handle the behavioral health program at his office now that Diane Dosell has departed.
All right. Well, I think that there was a Sergeant Tidwell, maybe,
Yeah.
that was working with Diane, but I don't know anything specific about what's being done.
We can ask. Anything else? Mr. Stewart.
Judge, I have an opinion.
Okay.
Pulling behavioral health into another entity, civilian entity, I think is appropriate. Having behavioral health specialist in the sheriff's office is appropriate also, but as it relates to law enforcement. Diane sent out, I forget what it was now, but several weeks ago, and I responded to her email and said, it's all great, but I don't really see this as the sheriff's office job.
Oh, and they were going out to the streets?
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's set up I just don't see that as the sheriff's office responsibility. And it's got a lot of momentum here. So I'm
Let's
kind of
not
keen
lose
to
it.
hear what Danette has said, is that within the county, they've created a separate civilian entity that's going to push forward for those programs. That's good.
Well, they've always had it, it just fell under public safety, so now it's
Yeah.
out of public safety and it's
Yeah,
with its
we
own.
need to come talk to
DCM,
us and
so-
see about the people that they hired.
Deb Strongler did
Yeah.
raise her hand. Let's give her an opportunity.
Yeah, just on the issue of whether it's the sheriff's job or not, whether it should be or not, the sheriff and all law enforcement has been forced to step in and make it their job because there are no other agencies that are filling the need. And so I don't know that it matters what we think should be their job, so much as, I think this is across the country. Law enforcement is being trained to do what is essentially the work of social workers and that end of the skill set, but it's not happening. And so sheriffs and police and so forth have stepped up and filled the gap in services. And I think there have always been parallel. There's a mental health unit, I believe, in the or behavioral health, whatever it's called, in APD. There's one for the county. There's one for the sheriff's office. And I think, all these agencies are fighting for funding for essentially targeting the same population. And it's unfortunate that it can't all be done in a unified way.
I don't know
Anyway,
if you
that's
want
my-
to say it can't be done in a unified way. There definitely needs at a minimum to be coordination. So
Right.
I can't disagree with you at all. I know, assuming that the special session happens, that the governor plans on some legislation which would empower law enforcement and courts to make people seek treatment. And so, I mean, that I think is going to, again, requires a level of coordination that requires the sheriff to at least have access to those people who are mental health outreach and terminating, is that a word?
Well, and I
Determining,
think, and
I don't know.
a related issue is that, whether someone is suffering from, a behavioral or mental issue, or whether someone is just a psychopath. If someone is committing a violent act, law enforcement has got to be called in. And so in that respect, law enforcement is going to be involved in a lot of these cases
Yeah.
regardless.
The overlap is certainly going to continue. So well noted. We can make inquiry with the sheriff. You know, as with other issues, I suspect he's on top of it. I will say this: a part of the discussion we were having with Commission Chair Baca was on mental health piece. So I think antenna are up. People are, I think, keenly aware that it's a big issue. Dr. Layden said, oh, you know, law enforcement's on everybody's radar screen. Well, mental health is as related to law enforcement as well. So doesn't hurt to ask the sheriff what his plan is or what his thoughts are, so we can do.
Judge, the one thing we never talked about is not in our purview. Dale's full of mentally ill people.
Sure.
I'm sure somebody is having the same discussion.
And you're correct, there is a jail board or a detention center board. I suspect they're having those discussions. And, you
And the
know,
juvenile
Oh, my God, yeah.
up on North Second.
Yeah.
They have troubles.
that's somebody. Oh, somebody looking in the door.
I did see somebody walk.
I saw someone
It's not
walk.
for us. I
Okay.
just-
Anything else?
They're just waiting. for Christmas.
Well, I think we'll finish this meeting in record time.
Good.
If you all have nothing else for the good of the order, is there a motion?
I'm moved to adjourn.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second.
Second, and would you also second, Dr. Layden? All these seconds?
Everybody's seconds already.
We all agree.
I think we all agree that we're adjourned.
Did we not
Right.
discuss a next meeting?
Oh,
Discuss a date.
a date for our next meeting,
July 12th,
July
I
12th.
looked, but now I can be mistaken. So. it's confirmed.
It is the second Friday.
Yeah.
But is
Friday,
everybody
July 12th.
available?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to, I have friends with kids that are like 10 and 11 years old, and I can't imagine them
So now we can adjourn.
doing.
We've got a meeting.
Okay, we're adjourned. Thank you.
Okay.
Let me,
Thank you.
What do you
I'm
need?
going to take the record off.
Bye, everyone. That was record time.
Bye.
It was record time.
I think this board should go